Should old acquaintance be forgotten?
Welcome to Actions and Limits. My name is Justin Atherton. I'm a personal coach and the founder of Confidence Unchained. With me, as always, is Paul Fortune. Paul is a business coach and the founder of A Call to Action. And together, we make Actions and Limits.
For old lang syne, dear, for old lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet.
Welcome to the show, the podcast where we talk about the actions we can take and the limits we create. How's it going, Paul? This is our first live recorded show, man.
This is exciting stuff. A new year is upon us, so a lot of great things coming up this year for both of us, I think.
Yeah.
I know you're going through some stuff, and I'm going through some stuff myself. All positive on my end, and I'm sure it is on your end, but very excited to see what 2020 is going to bring.
Yeah, a big transitional phase, like I said, like you were saying, for the both of us, working through the business, going through a lot of transitions, and our podcast going through a little bit of transition here, getting some video action, and New Year's is coming up, New Year's is right around the corner, man.
Yeah, you guys are all surprised how handsome we look, right?
They're all so surprised, Paul. They're all so surprised. That's why I do those little caricatures, our little Bitmoji things, so they can see what we really look like. So New Year's, man. So do you do resolutions, like, or well, before we get into that, what plans do you have coming up for New Year's?
Well, I'm planning on hopping a plane right before New Year's to go to Nashville, Tennessee, and then Alabama.
Okay.
So I'm going to get back into town on the 30th. So the next day, I think me and my girlfriend, we're going to keep it easy. I think we'll just stay at either her house or my house, and try to stay up till midnight. But after travel, you get all whacked out. But I think that's what we're going to do. Keep it mellow. How about yourself?
You're going to roll over in bed and be like, Happy New Year. Good night.
Yeah. That might be 7 a.m. the next day, but yeah.
No, so haven't made specific plans yet. Still in the works. I know we'll be up in Dallas, hanging out with some friends. So we've got a couple different options. The last few years we've been up in Dallas. We end up going to one of the big dance halls up there. Has a good New Year's party. So
Red River, right?
Yes. You've been there. You've been there before. So yeah, it's a good time.
Sometimes it's a big place. And if you guys like country dancing and you're in the Dallas area, I recommend going there. There's Red River's free plug right there.
Yeah. Are they going to be our new sponsor? I'm okay for that.
Let's do it. Bring them aboard.
So that's what's going to be our plans up there. But before that, I'll be hanging out with my girlfriend and my daughter for a few days, and doing some like post Christmas stuff. So yeah, that's.
Are you a big New Year's Eve person? Do you like to do something on New Year's Eve, or you like to keep it mellow?
Over the years, it's been different. I remember being younger and it wasn't such a big deal, and then like in your mid-20s, that's like the night to go out, right, and act silly. So I don't know. I've gone through different phases. I think for a while I didn't really celebrate it at all, and it was just like, oh, let's watch it on TV or watch some fireworks, and that's it. But over the last couple of years, I have gone out to celebrate. So,
well, I hate to be a negative Nancy about it, but you have these grandiose plans that you plan for these New Year's Eves, like you said, in your mid-20s or whenever, and then you go to the party or the event and everything like that, and it always seems like it never leads up to that climax that you think it's going to be when you plan these events. So
okay.
I have, the past, 5 years now, I've kind of not put too much expectations on New Year's Eve. Just
Sure.
kind of enjoy it. to what it is. I mean, because basically it's just a new day. I know it's, represents a new year and you want to start the year off right, but you kind of I think that a lot of people put too much emphasis on it. And I think
Yeah, I
because
agree.
of that, it can let you down a little bit.
Yeah, because in the end, it's just another day, right? And it's
Yeah.
like how much money you're going to blow on this one day when maybe you could taken that those funds and done something more productive than blown it on, um, whatever you're doing that night, all the alcohol, maybe, getting tickets into a place that's like, whatever the event that's going on, just to be able to be in there in a crowded room. So no, I totally get that. So I don't think that it's one of those times where you should, go above and beyond just for one day. Now I feel for this one, it might be a little different. People might see it differently because it's the end of the decade. So there's a lot of those roaring 20s parties going on. And so people are
Yep.
taking it a little bit differently. Maybe it's a little bit more special being the
Yeah.
end of the decade.
Yep. I feel that. Just a public service announcement there. I mean, it becomes amateur hour out there. There's a lot of people that drink during these times that normally don't drink, and they some of them, stupidly go behind the wheel of a car, even if you're sober. If somebody's driving drunk, not a good place to be. So make sure you be careful, see what your surroundings are, and be cognizant. What is that? What's
Cognizant.
the way
Cognizant. There you go.
about of your surroundings, and just be safe out there.
Yeah, no, I second that. There's a lot of people out there that can't pay attention to what they're doing. So hopefully everybody's safe out there. And like you said, amateur hour, everybody is coming out to have a drink on that night. So yeah. So let's touch on our sponsor real quick before we move on. So Frontline Standard, again, has been our sponsor throughout all of 2019. So thank you again to Frontline Standard. Frontline Standard is an apparel company that's owned by a veteran and law enforcement officer. He runs the apparel company based out of Texas with his wife, and they donate a portion of their profits to a nonprofit that supports American heroes and their families. Now, Frontline Standard is run by Patrick, who's a former U.S. Marine, and he now works as a police officer. And him and his wife wanted a way to give back to those who give so much on a daily basis. And you can find them at frontlinestandardapparel.com. And they're also on Instagram as Frontline Standard Apparel. And you can use our discount code, which is Actions20. And that's Actions20, and you can get 20% off your entire order. So again, thank you to Frontline Standard Apparel. So let's dive into this, Paul. So our topic today, I like it. I like it, but it's one of those things to where, do you do New Year's resolutions?
I do New Year's resolutions. I do, Justin. But I try to keep it simple and not so elaborate. For instance, I think last year I said to myself, I want to drop 5 pounds.
Okay.
And I wanted to do it within a month or two. So I try to keep them simple. And then what I do after I hit that goal, say like 5 pounds, and that's all I really wanted to lose, but let's just say I wanted to lose more. I'd say, okay, let's start with the 5 pounds. My goal, my New Year's resolution is to lose 5 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I hit the 5 pounds. I say to myself, okay, I got this. Let's add another 5 pounds. And I feel like if you break up the goal a little bit, it doesn't seem so daunting. Because I feel like people put this big, grandiose goal in front of them, and by Valentine's Day they're like, oh, whatever. I'm on with the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think if you set shorter term goals for yourself and you hit them, I think that's going to make you feel good, and hopefully at that point go, okay, I did this, now let's go this route. So I mean, you could do that with anything really. How about
I
yourself?
like that. Because I was looking at some statistics, and they're talking about not everybody does New Year's resolutions. They say about 60% of people do New Year's resolutions, but only 8% actually keep them. That's a pretty small number. And like you said, I think it's one of two things. It's either like this huge grandiose thing, like, oh, I'm gonna do this huge thing here, or it's so vague that they don't really have any guidelines for their New Year's resolution, put out. I'm gonna eat better. What does that mean? That can mean so many different things, but people say, oh yeah, that's my New Year's resolution. I'm gonna eat better. And guess what? By Friday of the first week, they're eating a whole pizza themselves, so it's.
Yeah. I mean, I like a goal like I want to talk to 5 new people each week. I like a goal like that.
I like that.
Yeah. So something simple, but something beneficial to you.
Mhm.
I want to read 1 extra book this year. Whatever it is, but keep it productive, but don't go crazy with it.
But see, you're being specific. I like how specific you're being with it, because the list of like the top ones, some of them in there are like read more. What does that mean? That could mean 1 more page a year if that's more. But you're like 1 more book, right? Talk to 5 more people. That's specific. These
Yeah.
are like learn a new skill or hobby. 26% of the people say that. Be specific. If you want to learn Spanish or you want to learn how to whittle, pick
it.
Yeah, don't just be so vague with it. So I think that's why a lot of those New Year's resolutions fail. Like you said, it's either grandiose or it's super vague.
Uh-huh.
And then why are you doing it? Why do you want that? I think
You got to find your why. And anything you do, you want to find your why. Otherwise, you're not going to be motivated to do it.
you're right.
It could be, what? I want to take my kid to Disneyland. I've never took my kid to Disneyland because I couldn't afford it. You know what? I'm going to save some money, and me and my kid, we're going to go to Disneyland this year. Something of that nature. I like the selfless goals like that too. Because I think once you do those goals, I think that maybe makes you feel even better. I know we can get into the selfish, selfless, but you know what I mean by that.
Yeah, for sure. No, I wanted to share something about that, the why. I had a client reach out to me this week, and they were talking about, they were asking me to hold them accountable for because they wanted to be healthier. So like, I want to get into the gym. I want to work out 4 times this week. So they said, please hold me accountable. And I said, okay. So I asked, trying to look for it on here. So I said, why are you deciding to work out? Okay. And they said to be healthier, to feel better about myself and have more energy and have more overall confidence. Okay. And I said, well, why do you want that? They said, so I can be true to my values. I have a sense of pride and accomplishment, and doing things are not always easy. Okay. Well, what value is related to working out? They said, well, being healthier and being around for my children. And I said, boom, there it is. There's the why.
Mm-hmm.
All that other stuff was kind of fluff, right? Like maybe it was true.
Well, it sounded like the other stuff he was saying, he was trying to impress you by saying it. I don't think he believed it. He wanted to say it because he feels like that's what you're supposed to say.
It could be something that, to sound good, right? Or that's what we feel like we're supposed to say. Because I want to be healthier. I want to have more confidence. I don't feel like the person was being deceptive in any way. No. I just don't think that they got down to the level of what the real why is. And so, like you said, I think you really have to have your why in anything that you do. And so in these New Year's resolutions, why are you doing them? Why do you want to lose 5 pounds? Why do you want to eat better? Why do you want to read, another book? Because if you don't know the reason why behind it, you're not going to do it. And guess what? My client worked out 5 times since we had that conversation.
Oh,
and
cool.
with zero motivation from me, zero, except for that conversation. Said, there's your why, there's your accountability. So really getting down to that and understanding what your why is behind, like you said, behind anything we do. Right. So,
Yeah, no question about it. How about yourself, Justin? What resolutions do you have? Do you believe in them? What do you got?
you know, why are we going to wait until the end of the year to make resolutions? I feel like I've made decisions that are going to affect next year for me over the last several months. I'm not saying I'm going to wait until, December 31st to put these things into place. Screw that. If I see something that needs to be implemented or there's something I want to do, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to wait around for anything. So I don't like the New Year's resolutions because to me, it seems like a way to put off your goals. Well, I'll make that my New Year's resolution. You're telling yourself in June. Yeah, I'm going to start that next year. Screw that. Next year starts today. What you do today is going to affect next year. So why not start now? So for me, I haven't made any New Year's resolutions.
Because
I
you
know
already
that,
made them.
yeah, sure. I've been working into implementing new things in my business, in my life over this past year, and I just haven't stopped. So I don't see the dividing line on December 31st to go, now I implement.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I totally agree with what you're saying. If you got goals, let's go, let's do them now. And I'm all about that. Believe me, I'm all about that.
Mm-hmm.
I do see the symbolic ness about it. It's a new year. Let's start off fresh. So I get that too. But yeah, if you have a goal in your head in March, yeah, please don't wait till New Year's Eve to implement that goal. But I mean, I see it a little bit. I mean, you probably start to think about it a little bit more during this time, especially because a lot of people, the last 2 weeks of the year, a lot of people don't work as much just
Mm-hmm.
because, things kind of calm down until the new year. So a lot more people have time to kind of reflect on their past year and kind of reflect on the future year. So I can see, why people would do resolutions on the new year. But yeah, if you got goals, don't wait. But
Yeah.
if you start reflecting on the new year now in the last 2 weeks, that's cool. But let's start it now. Let's start it now. Let's
Yeah.
start it on December 27th.
And it could be something, related with, family, right? We're around family more over the last 2 months of the year. What do we want to change in regards to that? A few things, right? We've been eating a lot of, hearty food over the last couple of months. Man, I need to lose all this holiday weight.
Absolutely.
Being more healthy. So, if it has something to do with those effects, great, I get it. But yeah, I don't believe in waiting or pushing that stuff off. But like you said, a time to reflect. I get that. If this is the time of year when those things come up for you, and you're like, hey, man, what have I accomplished in the last year? Maybe you haven't accomplished much, or you haven't accomplished the things that you wanted to, and so this can be that time to go, hey, no, I'm going to step up and do this. But you still need to have the why behind it, because there's a reason that only 8% of New Year's resolutions get completed. Right? It's because people don't know why they're doing them.
Yeah, and another thing, don't put yourself down. I've talked to people, and you have too, I'm sure, Justin, about New Year's resolutions or just about changes in their lives. Where somebody told me the other day, they said, "Oh, I didn't accomplish anything all year," and I go, "Really?" And I go, "Break it down for me. What did you do? These months, this month?" And he ended up doing quite a bit of stuff, and I'm like, you have accomplished a lot of stuff. Give yourself some credit. You have done a lot for yourself. You need to pat yourself on the back sometimes, because you know what? Nobody else is going to. So you better do it yourself sometimes. So,
Right.
yeah, sometimes it's a self-esteem thing and kind of reflecting on what you have done. Because a lot of people have done a lot of great things. They're just not giving themselves credit for it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. We don't pat ourselves on the back enough, because we're also the world's biggest critic of ourselves. So we're kicking ourselves in the butt, and then we don't give ourselves any credit. So it's this, double duty, right? We're just like putting ourselves down. I didn't accomplish anything. Well, what about this and this and this? Hey, those are accomplishments. Even if it's like small growth. I saw a message a few weeks back. It talked about if you progress 1% every day for a year, in a year, you have progressed 365%. But what do? We kick ourselves. Oh man, I'm only 1% better than yesterday. Oh man, I'm still only 1% better than yesterday. So for a whole year, we're kicking ourselves and don't realize that progression over the entire year has been tremendous. So I definitely agree with that idea of patting yourself on the back and giving yourself props for the little wins that you have had or for the big ones. I know I used to have a lot of problems with that, because I was like, no, I'm just doing my job. It's nothing special. I really had a hard time giving myself credit for anything. So
And how
I
did that
get that.
change? How did that change? What did you do to change that?
It was just a mindset thing. It was
How
just
did you
real,
come up with that mindset?
man. Oh boy. I mean, that's been a progression over the last few years for me, right? I think a lot of that was tied in with emotions, because for me, my emotional intelligence or emotional fortitude was one of the last areas that I became like self-aware in. And so there was, an emotional hang up behind the idea of admitting that I did something good and being able to own up to that, because I think it was linked to the idea that, it was never good enough. Okay. And what's an interesting thing is your perception constantly shifts and changes as you grow and learn. You're constantly chasing that carrot, right? You're like, oh, once I get there, I'll be happy. Then you get there and you're not happy. You're like, because once I get there, I'll be happy. And you keep moving and moving, and you're chasing that carrot for the rest of your life, right? And
Well, chasing the carrot, if you are excited about that accomplishment, oh, you know what? You set that. Oh, I caught the carrot. Okay, great. This is good. I'm going to eat that carrot. Now I'm going to push that carrot a little bit further. Oh, I got there. Eat it. I think
but what if you're
if you
not?
celebrate,
Yes, that's the key.
getting to that carrot and then move it forward, I think you'll be inside. You'll be happier about it,
Yeah.
as opposed to saying, "Oh, well, I hit the carrot, but oh well, now we're going to push it."
Yeah,
Celebrate that small success.
I agree with that. You have to, celebrate it once you get there. I think what I was doing, I was running up to the carrot and chunking it as far as I could, and then chasing after it again and going, all right, keep on going, and I
Yeah,
was never taking a bite of it.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Because it's okay to celebrate your accomplishments, even if it's by yourself, even if you do. What? Another thing that I was contemplating on doing more this year, and I think it would be very beneficial to me, stress wise. That is my why on this one. Stress wise, Justin.
okay.
A meditation, meaning give myself 15 minutes of no phone, no nothing. Um, sometimes I'll go out somewhere and look at a body of water, or something pleasant to look at, and give myself at least 15 minutes just kind of reflect on my day or my week or whatever's going on. Because when I do that, I tend to my body tends to relax and my stress level goes down. So I got to plan my day to have that meditation, because it definitely relieves stress for me.
Yeah,
When
no,
I
I get that.
Yeah, but you always think of, well, is it productive? Well, it is productive.
Hmm.
It's making my inner feel better, so that I'm more productive the next day or later on that day. So it's not you're not wasting time just because you're sitting there doing nothing. You're getting your bearings, to go forward, and giving yourself a second to slow everything down, and just realize what's important, because a lot of times with your day-to-day work, with us being coaches and we get caught up in some stuff that may not be as big as they really are because we're just in that moment. And sometimes if you can just step back a second and kind of reflect on what you're doing, you can see the bigger picture.
Yeah, I definitely like that. So is that something you're going to plug into the middle of your day, or something you're going to start your day off with?
When I do it, and it's very sporadic. When I do it, it's normally at the end of my day.
Hmm.
But depending on my schedule, and maybe in the morning there. I'm not the earliest riser. I get up in between 6 and 6:30. But I could do that during the time. But I kind of like it uh, after my day is done, because then I'm able to just to kind of shut it all down and kind of reflect on my day,
It's a
kind
way
of
to wind
reflect on
down.
tomorrow's day, and yeah, and going forward. I like, if anything, I would rather do what you do, Justin, in the morning is go to the gym and kind of get amped up for the day. I think that's actually more something I would rather do is actually do some exercise in the morning and then
Yeah.
reflect at night.
Yeah, and there's a couple things there. Yeah, I've talked with people who have tried to find ways to break up their day, and even if it's on their lunch break, maybe they had a stressful morning, and in order to have a productive rest of the day, take that portion, whether it's going in their car or going in their office and just shutting the door and having that 15-30 minutes to be able to detach from everything, refresh, and then get back at it. So I think that's a really good tool. If schedule, but you got to schedule that into your day, right? I think it's definitely something that you have to do, because if it's arbitrary and you're just like, well, maybe I'll do it today, maybe I won't, and you're not super consistent with it, then it doesn't become part of your routine. So
Yeah, especially if it's going to be in the middle of your day, because all the people that listen to this podcast, that they're busy people. They're on
yeah,
the go. A lot of these people are listening to this podcast driving to their next appointment.
hmm,
So if they don't schedule it, it's not going to happen.
exactly.
We're all pretty busy people, and you know you have to make time for what's most important for you.
Yeah, in talking about the idea of meditation, maybe we're getting a little bit more off topic from New Year's, but the meditation, I feel like, can be different for different people. For me, I feel like I clear everything out in the gym. In the morning when I'm in there with loud music and just moving around, picking up heavy things, that feels like my meditation to me. Are there times throughout the day that I need to do that as well? I make sure in the morning, the first thing when I wake up, like, I don't touch my phone for the first hour. When I'm up, because I don't I don't want to be in someone else's world right when I wake up. I'm focusing on what I have to do and what my plans are for the day, and then I make a conscious decision to pick up my phone or get on the computer and start working. At the end of the day, I need to be better about that, because I'll work right up till it's time to go to bed, and then go to bed, but my brain is still working. I
Yeah, I have that problem too. Like you got like 20 things going on in your head at one time, and you're all amped up. Okay, it's 10 o'clock or whatever time you go to bed, and you're
sure.
laying there going, oh, what about this? I didn't do this. This is a good idea. Let me write this down. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's me. I'm taking notes. I'm getting out of bed and writing down notes. Like,
yeah,
it's probably like 2 or 3 times before I can actually like go to bed. I'm not stressing or anything or thinking about stuff I didn't accomplish. For me, it's just like an idea pops in my head, and I'm like, I have to write this down or it's going to be gone when I wake up. You know,
yeah.
but so I have to schedule some time, the wind down time before bed, to be able to detach from that, to give myself that hour, so I can get those ideas out before I hit the pillow. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but for me, it can be stress. There is stress, in my day and what I do for a living, and different things I want to do in my life, especially coming up this year.
sure.
So some of it is stress for me. A lot of it is ideas. I welcome the ideas more than I welcome the stress, obviously. But I'm human. I feel stress,
Yeah.
but that's where I'm hoping that when I do the meditation, and it's some people, and some people, it's maybe a religious thing behind it, and that's fine too. Like you said, Justin, you find your why. If that's part of your why, and
Hmm.
you believe in a certain religion, and that's your why, perfect. I have my own beliefs, and Justin, I know you have your own beliefs, and that's our whys. And there's nothing wrong with whatever whatever your why is, as long as you're not, harming another person by
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah,
One thing about the why I was thinking about, you need to reevaluate them every once in a while. You might need it in every topic in your life is going to have a different why behind it, but you should reevaluate them every once in a while to see if that's still valid, because sometimes it's going to change. Circumstances of your life change, your job change, the reasons that you're doing the things. And I think that's why when you're in a job for a long period of time, people are like start to get, well, man, I don't like this anymore. Well, what's your why? Is it the same as when you got in there? Because it probably isn't.
yeah.
So it's a
That's
constant reevaluation
yeah.
process.
I can feel that, and a lot of people can feel that. I can feel that. Not, I can't get into too much detail on that, but um, I right there with you on that one, Justin. I think that's huge. I think a lot of people feel that way. Um, I mean, because bottom line is we all have to make money,
Mhm.
and not every day is going to be sunshine and roses. I don't care what you do for a living. You could be an NFL football player. You could be a singer. I don't care what your profession is, a professional leader, whatever it is. There's going to be times in your life that you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be like, I don't want to do this today. I don't want to, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to look at that. Is it just today, or is this a job that's just been killing you for a long time? So you have to evaluate that. Sometimes you can get in a rut for a couple weeks, and then you pull out of that rut, and you really enjoy your job. So before you make any drastic decisions on what you're going to do with the changes, really evaluate: is it the job or is it you?
Yeah. And again, really evaluating that and understanding that things change. Your reasons to do things change. So I, it's so important to constantly reevaluate that. So I think that's something that we need to do. And maybe New Year's is a good time to do that, for that reevaluation, right? This time of reflection, the end of the year, thinking about, okay, is this something I still want to do? Maybe you don't need to put a New Year's resolution into place. You look at what's going on right now in your life and go, do I still want to be doing this? And why? Why do I want to keep doing this? And I think that will come with a lot more profound change, and a lot more drive and motivation can come from that. So,
Yeah, no question about it. Evaluating, every so often, uh, and on all aspects of your life. It doesn't always have to be about work, your personal life. A lot of times, we have relationships. You talk about changing. People change. You have relationships that you've had, with friendships. You have friendships of people in high school, and you guys had a lot. People had a lot in common, and then you become adults, and people go different ways, and it's not a bad thing. You just sometimes just kind of grow apart because my interests are here and this person's interests are there, and
yeah.
we're not as close as we once were, and that's okay.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a whole nother topic to dive into, because that can bring up a lot of different emotions for people, and people can get a lot of hangups with the idea of letting go of people that have been in their life for a long time. But it doesn't always serve you to keep people around that are used to the old you. And you know maybe you've created that new version of yourself, and those people that have been in your life a long time aren't used to that, and so they tend to slow you down. So, but that's a whole different
That's a whole
conversation.
different topic. I just want to bring back another point about kind of back to where you're talking about the rut with the job and all that stuff. Before you go out and quit your job and do anything drastic, you want to have some foundation. You want to find out, okay, what I got to work. I got to make money.
Hmm.
Where am I going to go? What's my next move? And that's, a good time to get a coach to help you, to kind of help you evaluate, okay, this has been my path for so many years, and now I'm going to go on a different path. And then you're kind of sometimes in tunnel vision. And then if you get a coach involved, they can look at it in an aspect that you didn't even think of, because you're so focusing on just the front of your mind. They're looking at all sides of it and going up with things that you may have not have thought of, and that will help you. It may be hard at first because you might be hearing things that you don't want to hear, but that coach might be able to put you in a better position on what's going to be best for your future.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I like that because, sometimes a coach is that sounding board that you need to, give you back what you're putting out, because you might not be hearing yourself. You might be talking about the things that you want or that you are passionate about. But when someone else can hear it and they're actually listening to you with purpose, they can pick up on those things and go, hey, well, this is where your passion's at. This is what you get excited about. So why don't you explore this area here? Oh, I've never thought about that before. Oh, so that's what a coach is there for, right? To like give you back your own words. Like, hey, you just said this. Did you hear it? Did you hear yourself say it?
Yeah.
And sometimes that can lead to some pretty amazing change. So yeah, before you jump out, without a parachute, it's not a bad thing to reach out and have someone to talk to about some different ideas and to explore different things that you're passionate about and excited about. So
yeah, because if you just quit your job, well, okay, great, you quit your job, now you don't make any money. What are you going to do? Don't just think about, oh, my job's rotten, I just want to get out, and now you're out. Now what? You gotta come up with a plan, and having a coach can help you with that.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I got a whole bunch of questions recently. Let me sift through these. I had a couple good ones come up for you, Paul. So in our
segment, Ask Paul Anything.
Yes, Ask Paul Anything. I like this question here. This is from Erica in San Pedro, California. She says, Paul, what is the legacy you want to leave the world?
Wow.
That's a good New Year's question, right?
That is a powerful question, Erica. Good job. That's a great question. What legacy do I want to leave behind? Well, the legacy that I want to leave behind is that I was a generous person, whether it was with my time, maybe with my finances, or just being there for a friend. I want people to say, you know what? Paul really cared. He really went out of his way when I was in trouble or wanted to celebrate a big event, and he was right there to celebrate it with me. So yeah, I would say caring and generosity, I'll mix into one.
I like
would be my legacy that I would like to leave behind.
That's good. That's a pretty good legacy to leave behind. So awesome. No, I like that. I like that answer, Paul. So this was a good show, man. I'm excited for New Year's. I'm excited for what next year holds. I don't have any resolutions, but I'm definitely excited for this next year, for this next decade, the 20s. Doesn't that sound weird? We're going to be in the freaking 20s, man.
It is crazy. I feel like yesterday I was in high school and college, and I blinked my eyes, and now I'm here, middle age.
Oh man, it's an interesting thought to say that we're in the 20s. So this is going to be an awesome decade, man. I know you got some big stuff coming up, and me too. So I'm excited.
Stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned. Yeah. For Justin Atherton, this is Paul Fortune. We'll see you next week.
All right. See you next Monday. Thank you for listening to the show. Remember to leave a comment and tell us what you thought about today's episode. Follow us on your favorite podcast platforms. We're on Apple, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, and featured on Podbean. Follow us on Instagram at Actions and Limits and stay updated on all the upcoming content. If you have any outrageous questions for our section Ask Paul Anything, submit them to actionsandlimits@gmail.com and your question could be featured on the show.